For lunch, I thought that I would make like a chicken kind of sandwich, and I try to stick to more affordable options when it comes to gluten-free carbs, I guess, like rice and maybe like gluten-free pretzels or something, because for some reason gluten-free bread is really expensive. But most of the breads that I have tried, I do not like. I just don't like the taste of them and the texture of them. I found these hamburger buns by the brand EDS, and I actually like these. It does have a texture to it that gets kind of soggy if you put something that is saucy on the buns, like sloppy joes or something like that. But if you just eat it toasted with, like sun butter on it, it seems to have a pretty decent texture. I don't mind the texture really that much overall. It's not as good as regular bread texture wise, but the taste of it is tolerable. So I am going to just use this for what I'm going to make for my lunch, and I will just share when I make it what I'm having. My bird was being really loud in the background, so I thought that I would just do a voiceover here, but I used the buns, the hamburger buns, and I put them in the toaster and toasted them a little bit and put some chicken and some lettuce and plant-based mayonnaise on the bread, and then that is just what I will have for a little sandwich. And then some cantaloupe, some blueberries, some gluten-free pretzels, and some hummus as well. This is the first time I'm trying hummus in a long time, just to see if I can tolerate it. And yeah, so this lunch, to my understanding, is pretty low FODMAP. I'm sure that there's some things on here that are a little bit higher in FODMAPs, maybe with the portion sizes and all of that, but eating this way has helped me a lot, and just in just managing my digestive issues and flare-ups. And the cromolyn sodium has also helped me a lot to be able to eat things that would have given me reactions previously more frequently, or just I still do sometimes have random reactions to things, but it's nowhere near the frequency that I had before the cromolyn. So I'm grateful for that, and this is my lunch for today. Like exercise routine that I am attempting to do this summer to hopefully help strengthen my muscles and help my joints to become more stable. When I went through my first 2 really bad flare-ups, it left me pretty inactive for quite some time, and I was experiencing a lot of muscle weakness as it was, even when I was active, and I just felt like it just made it even worse. So I am trying my best to attempt to help my body as much as possible not to deteriorate even more muscle-wise, and just to try, if I can, to help my joints to have a little bit more support around them as I am aging. I feel like I wasn't really prepared for the amount of pain that I was going to experience. Even right here doing these exercises, my hip was hurting really bad. It was popping in and out and giving me a lot of issues, and I was struggling to just continue on and keep going. But as much as I just don't really want to do this, I am trying really hard to stick with it. So I find it really interesting just how long it took me to understand that this condition is something that I was dealing with lifelong, and that it was never recognized by anybody. It was never, noticed. When I was growing up, I remember people telling me often that I was really flexible, really double jointed, that, it must be so nice that I could just crack my back whenever I wanted to. All I had to do was like turn and my entire back would crack. But nobody knew that that wasn't a good thing and that I was going to end up with a lot of joint issues and pain eventually, because it was more than just being double jointed. It was a hypermobility disorder. So even in this part of this exercise routine, my hip is really burning. And it's funny because she was saying your butt is really the area that you should be feeling it, but for me, it was not. It was my hip. And because I think my hip was struggling so much, I couldn't feel it in maybe the muscles I was supposed to feel it in. And I was just trying with everything to get through this. So after I have done this routine, I've done it for about a week now, I noticed that I am pretty fatigued. I thought maybe it was going to be something easy to do, but it really hasn't been as easy as I thought it was going to be. And this is where I was noticing that my elbows were not wanting to cooperate and go into the position that this woman was saying that they should be in. They just didn't really want to stay there. And I was struggling a little bit with that, as well as my wrists feeling just like they were having some issues. So this also was really uncomfortable. And my back at this point was burning. So I could really feel it in my upper back, just a lot of burning and a lot of pain. So I afterwards find myself needing to rest more than I thought that I would. And I just feel a lot more, I think, pain within my joints and my muscles after this than I thought or expected that I would as well. But I am trying hard not to let that make me give up on it, and I'm going to continue on with this and just hope that I end up maybe a little bit stronger by the end of summer, and maybe it can be something that over time I get used to and can be beneficial for me in the long run, and I'll be glad that I didn't give up on it. And this was shortly after. I was very tired. I would share a little bit about the books that I found at the library. The vitamin D cure book is one that I got because my daughter is low in vitamin D often, and I thought that maybe I could learn something from that. It looked like it might be interesting. The Taco Tuesday book, I just love tacos and thought maybe I could find something in there. The Sleep Smarter book looked really interesting, as well as the Brain Fog Fix book. The book about the moon, I find myself really fascinated with the moon sometimes, so I thought maybe reading that before bed might be a good way to kind of get my mind out of being overstimulated, and maybe I can, learn something new from it. The Girl in the Dark book is about a girl who was diagnosed with some kind of a rare chronic illness where she became increasingly sensitive to the light outside, and it just looked like a good book. The Autistic Guide to Self-Discovery, I believe, is written by a late diagnosed autistic individual, and I myself am late diagnosed. My daughter was diagnosed at age 3, and we were just having a discussion today earlier about how to know the difference between things that you actually genuinely like and when you are masking or mirroring other people. And for me, it took me a really long time to understand the difference, and I actually didn't really find out who I was, I feel like, until I was in my 30s, or I didn't remember parts of who I was from, like, I feel like we all hold parts of ourselves from like childhood and stuff, but I thought maybe reading this could help me to help her to understand better, so that is why I chose to get that one. I thought that I would share a little bit of what my quiet little prayer area looks like. I made this space so that I could have somewhere to sit down and just pray or think. And it's a very quiet space, so that's why I decided to make it in here. I haven't used it in quite some time, so I am trying to incorporate it kind of into my routine again and trying to read some books and pray a little bit. And I thought that I would just share some of the things that I have in this space. Over here, I have my rosaries. One of them is actually my daughter's, but this one is mine that my mom had got for me before she passed away. I really love wooden rosaries, so I ended up giving my only wooden rosary that I had away to somebody, and I had mentioned how much I loved wooden rosaries to her and that I didn't have one and I needed to get a new one. And she ended up getting me this, which I think is beautiful. And I used to be in a pretty good habit of praying the rosary every single day, and then I fell out of it when I started to struggle a little bit more. So my hope is to get back into it again. And then I was pretty interested in getting or wanting this book a few years ago, and my mom actually also purchased this for me as well before she had passed away. And I was sitting the other night and just kind of starting to go through it. I did at one point, I did read through it quite a bit. I can't really remember exactly what was in it, but I did quite a few years ago kind of get a little ways through it. But I decided to just go from the beginning again, and I found a prayer in here that I thought that I would share. And I just no. Does your person have a beard?
Yeah. Does your person have white hair?
No. Does your person have a beard?
No.
Oh. Does your person have yellow hair?
Yeah.
Are you David?
Yeah.
Oh.
Does your person have brown hair?
No.
Does your person have a beard?
No.
Does your person have long eyebrows?
Huh?
Long eyebrows?
Oh, that's hard to say. I would say yeah.
Are you thumbs?
Yes.